Well, we're about to start our visit of the second of two of the most famous sites in Indonesia. So we've already been earlier this morning to the second largest Hindu temple in the world, only exceeded by Angkor Wat. And now we are at Borobudur, which is the largest Buddhist temple in the world. And they really have this thing figured out.
Pretty park.
Yeah. They have this whole arrangement structured in such a way that there's no way you can see the actual temple unless you are in the grounds. And there are so many visual barriers. Tanya pointed out they really have this wired. And they have this incredibly large and modern visitor ticket center as you come in.
That's beautiful.
And we have a allotted time to make it up to to be with a guide to go up to the top of the temple itself. And there's only so many a day that they allow. We have one of the allotted slots, so we'll enjoy our visit on this very warm and humid February day. Borobudur is Indonesia's single most visited tourist attraction. It's a massive Buddhist monument about 26 miles northwest of Yogyakarta. Borobudur monument combines the symbolic forms of the stupa, a Buddhist mound, the temple mountain based on Hindu mythology, and the mandala, a Buddhist symbol of the universe, combining the square as earth and the circle as heaven. The monument was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1991.
Number your guide.
Okay.
And then the guide call your number.
Okay. So, after that little tram, it led us off at another place where we go in and they fit you for some. Thank you. Fit us for sandals, which apparently they're ours to keep, and apparently you need to have when you're climbing around the temple to avoid any damage to it. I think we've come at a very good time. There's hardly any crowds here. The lovely Tanya is up there. She's excited. And we're supposed to meet our guide within the next 10 minutes or so. You're required to have a guide when you come onto the grounds, and so our driver/guide, he'll go off somewhere. And we're given a little bottle of water as well, which we'll need on a day like today. The grounds surrounding the temple are just massive and extremely well manicured. It almost looks like a resort or golf course of some kind. And of course, little places around where you can buy souvenirs. Guys out here raking, making sure this place is just perfect. So it's a it's a more developed area than Perantapan, the place where we were, where the Hindu temple, and I think this is the more popular site. So we're heading up to the temple itself. They divide groups into, I think, languages. And we have one guide here, and there's probably about, I don't know, 7 or 8 of us. English speakers, yeah, that are following him along. He's got his conical hat on, which is very smart in this hot weather. And if you look straight ahead of us up there is the Borobudur Temple. We'll tell you more about that as we get up there. Borobudur was constructed between 778 and 850 AD. Now, think about this. Buddha was born in 563 and lived to 483 BC. So over 1,000 years before this temple was built. Now, some say that Buddha was born around 448 AD. That's a minority opinion, but even if that were true, this whole temple was built long after Buddha's death. We have our handy rain ponchos right now, so nothing can deter us.
Nothing can bug us.
Yeah. And we're walking around on, I think, the 5th level of the Borobudur temple. That's how we're going to end up down there. Yeah. One thing, the nice rainstorm, thunder and lightning, has cooled things down quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
We're getting down into the late afternoon now and just trying to find our way back, sort of to where we came. I think I mentioned before, I know I did, but I'm not sure I was recording, that our driver, we have to find him because he has our shoes.
Yeah.
Because we're wearing these little sandals that they gave us, and he kept our shoes in a little bag, and they're very comfortable, but I don't know that I want to find a bus somewhere to go back to Yogyakarta wearing these shoes. But you know, this is all part of the adventure of traveler. That's us. It was buried under volcanic ash from about the year 1000, which is just amazing. And it was all overgrown with vegetation. And then it was discovered in 1814 by the English Lieutenant Governor Thomas Stamford Raffles. And then a team of Dutch archaeologists restored the site in 1907 to 1911. Then a second restoration was completed in 1983. Borobudur is shaped like a stepped pyramid. It has 3 major levels. It has a square base, a middle level of 5 square terraces, and an upper level of 3 circular terraces. The center, which is about 115 feet above the base, consists of a large individual stupa. And each of these stupas, most of them, have a statue of Buddha inside them. Each of the monument's 3 main levels represents a stage on the way to enlightenment. And so, symbolizing this spiritual journey, a pilgrim begins at the eastern stairway, walks clockwise around each of the monument's 9 levels before reaching the top. And this is a distance of about 5 kilometers. At the lowest level, which is partially hidden, are hundreds of these relief carvings of earthly desires. And then on the next level, there's a series of reliefs that depict the middle sphere, or the realm of form, through the events in the life of Buddha and scenes from his previous lives. And then the upper level illustrates the realm of formlessness, or detachment from the physical world. It's a very simple monument or temple. There's very little decoration. But lining the terraces are 72 of these bell-shaped stupas, and as I say, most of them still contain a statue of Buddha. And it's partially visible through the perforated stonework. Some of these perforations are square, some are diamond-shaped, but you can look in there and see a statue of Buddha. We finally found an answer to the question that I had about the call to prayer starting every morning at about 4 o'clock or 4:15, something like that. And I asked another one of our guides, I said, it goes off every morning. And I said, do people actually wake up that early? He says, yes. And do they pray? Yes. He says, my wife and I, we both do that. And I said, well, do you go back to bed? No, then we keep going. And because I know I have to be at work by 6 or 6:30. And so it's just a normal part of life. So it's just their normal pattern. We shouldn't expect them to try and, or we shouldn't expect to adapt our old folks sleeping in habits to the way people really live. And this guy has he not only is a tour guide, but he owns a little store, and he has 3 employees. He says, I have to get to the store, make sure everybody's there, and they're all working, everything's going great. Then I got to be over here and be the tour guide. So, that's how it is. So there you have the story of Borobudur. It's a fascinating place, and definitely one that you should visit when you come to Java, and especially when you come to Yogyakarta. And we'll see you again in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.